Hey everybody, part 2 here, Otter Creek Florida Town Hall meeting. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it.
For the water utility, you had,
How long can we last? The rate that we're going, based on that audit, how long can we last? No more grants. You know, grants are a wish and a hope. How can we last?
I mean, see, that's something that's really hard to say, you know. You would really need to have a study of your infrastructure to know, hey, because like I'm not an engineer to go out and say, hey, this water plant has this exact many years left, or this pipe underground, you know. I'm just putting in based on what estimated useful lives are. You know, we say, hey, infrastructure most of the time is going to last about 40 years. You might get 60, you might get 80, but without a study or to, you know, there's someone who's got experience looking at it and say, hey, this is how much this or that has, you know, this is how much more we got to go. But, you know, like I said, you're about 60% depreciated on the infrastructure for your water utility. So, you know, as that, you know, in the next 20 years, you know, that's going to really be aging out, you know, and so, you know, that could be an issue along that time frame.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got one quick summary question. So that's the 21 audit,
22.
22 audit. So the next audit's coming out when?
Okay.
2 back to back, because this one's late?
So this one was a little later than what it should have been. You know, ideally, we try to shoot for having them out by June 30th, which is when the state requests that it be out. So that would be by June 30th of 2024.
For the 23.
For the 23.
23. So with that audit, we should be able to compare these numbers to those numbers to see the transitional change and improvements.
Yep.
That'll be fun to watch.
Anything else from anyone? All right, well, we really appreciate you coming out and explaining that to us. You did a good job of explaining it.
Yeah.
And we thank you for your time.
Thank you, very much so, thank you.
Again, drive safe.
We'll walk out and go, phew.
All right, now we're moving on to the public participation. Members of the public will have 3 minutes to speak to the council on any one topic. If you filled out the comment card, if you haven't filled out a comment card but you would like to make a comment, please do so now. And your topic does need to pertain to the town, and we would love it if you would be respectful with no foul language, preferably. Does anybody have?
I just want to thank the veterans for what they've done.
Yes.
I know it's past, but I want to do a stand for them.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you to all the veterans. Did you fill one out?
No, I didn't.
All right, come on down and fill one out.
You came in late.
I'm always late.
Oh, right here and on the clipboard. There are worse problems to have. All right, so our first person is Miss Darlene Smith.
All right, I wanted to talk about the Christmas party. We're bringing a Christmas party back to Otter Creek. And,
Yeah!
and, thanks to Jeremy and
Thanks to
George
Darlene
there.
And Joyce.
Letting us have it at the old school. And, we want to try to bring Otter Creek back in. So we're planning on having a house decorating contest maybe, if everybody wants to participate. You can win some money. I mean, we're gonna give a prize for it, if everybody wants to decorate or anything like that. Yeah, we have enough for everybody to participate that can. And,
Wanting to light up Otter Creek?
yeah, line up Otter Creek. I mean, we look to be a big thing, there's a lot of people gonna be here. And I know there are gonna be people riding around through Otter Creek, I'm assuming, you know, and I thought it would be nice just for everybody to participate, or people that will, you know, just decorate and, you know, Otter Creek come together on something. you know, hopefully.
Yeah.
And,
Greg, you need to make a comment directly to the council temporarily.
well, yeah, that's what I mean, I'm directed to y'all, and, I mean, if, I know Otter Creek has a funding, you know, and I don't know if they want to participate, you know, help out or whatever, you know, that's.
We used to
Otter
get
Creek.
500, we still gonna do that, right? I wouldn't want,
I mean, we could use that toward the, prize, you know, for decorating if somebody wanted to and whatever, you know, huh?
That has been the past.
That has been the past.
Do they have
I
any
think
lights
that
left
should
over to put
definitely
on the
continue.
poles?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I don't know how much decorations left around here, or if there is any left, or, you know, we had quite a bit at one time, you know.
94.
You know, we could,
Richard said there's a whole bunch in the building next door. Now, I've never been in the building, so I don't know what.
I don't know what
things are.
condition it's in, we'll have to look through
do you
it.
mind if we come over and,
Of
or
course
come
you
over
can
and
come.
take a look at it and see if there's anything we could use to help?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. Our next person is Mr. Hales.
One housekeeping thing, I just have to publicly give these to the town hall. All you have to do is have those on file, and where a normal town would be responsible for enforcement, since our town doesn't have enforcement, Levy County Sheriff is enforcing with the state of Florida. All you have to do, since I'm a resident here, is hold them on file in the office. But what I do want to talk about is tie off of Darlene. Christmas in the Creek is coming back. I am excited. I've been talking with Darlene and Joyce, and they've gotten me excited. And it seems as if the entire world is excited to see Christmas come back to Otter Creek. I can't tell you how overwhelmed I am already. I got a mountain of gifts already for kids for Otter Creek and all of Levy County. We're not gonna, just so everybody knows, December 16th, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We have no idea who's gonna show up or how many people are gonna show up. If it goes longer than 7 p.m., then we're gonna go longer than 7 p.m. But we wanted to let the community know and have you guys share that with them as well. There are gonna be free gifts. I had 2 couples already today drop off brand new bicycles. It's just overwhelming to me opening up all these gifts. And then we're gonna need some other help as well, volunteers. We've got volunteers to help with Mrs. Claus, which is gonna be Belinda. And then Mr. Claus, Santa himself, is gonna be Doug. And we're excited about that. It's going to be incredible as Otter Creek does all of this. But I want to let you guys know that, and we're also going to need help. We are buying out an entire store of toys for these kids. So I need kind of an army to kind of help me go cart it, haul it, prep it, and get it ready. And so if anybody is interested in the community or the council, please let us know. And then one more thing. We got one more spot we need a volunteer. Since Russ the Sus stole Christmas last year, we need a Grinch. And so Russ the Sus, I'm inviting you to be the Grinch who stole Christmas in Otter Creek. You just let me know if you want to dress up. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
And that is open to all of Levy County.
We are not putting any restrictions on where people come from, any age restrictions or anything. We're going to promote it in Levy County. And Joyce is saying 3 gifts. 3 gifts. That's,
Wow.
each person's going to get 3 gifts. If we have leftover, we'll draw it over for next year, or we'll go to Toys for Tot. I've been talking with Levy County Sheriff and Toys for Tot as well.
Nice.
But it's going to be fun.
That's exciting.
It's going to be fun.
Yes. All right.
Madam Mayor, I think that you should not let people talk down to council members as just happened. That is just not proper.
Okay.
I know it's.
Councilmember Don, the Supreme Court has reserved and protected my right to speak any way I want to a council member.
Well, we know that.
Thank you.
We know it is
All right,
wrong.
we're moving
We
on
know
to the
it's
next
wrong.
person now. Brian Dempsey.
Yes, I have some questions. Last month when I was here, I'm terrible with names, so I'm sorry. I work with, what?
Belinda.
Belinda. We went through a lot of paperwork and a lot of documents, and I was satisfied that she went through thoroughly and showed me everything she had. Well, on the way back, I started thinking, and I there were some things that wasn't quite settling with me, so I made some notes. And first, I wasn't going to say anything about it, but then I remember what the sister said last time about Mr. Fuller.
Can you make sure you're directing that to the council?
Okay.
Not to clerk.
Okay, all right. Mr. Fuller was aware of something and maybe have not said something way back when. So I just want to make sure I cover this. Okay, one of the things I noticed was on the building permit. The building permit actually had October the 2nd on it. And the work was started way before then. And to my understanding, before you before you start any work, the building permit has to be already in place before you start any work. So with that being said, there was a lot of work already done by the time the date on the building permit was signed, which was October 2nd. Then as we went through it a little further, I was under the understanding that that area had been changed to a C4 area, C5. But when we went through it and we looked at it, it was never changed to C4, C5, whatever. It was still a C1. And the attorney made a suggestion or an understanding that it could be seen as a C5, C4, whatever, but there was no determination. And we looked for the records, and there were no records in any meetings or anything that we could find at the time. So my concern is that a C5 or C4, or is it a C1? Because if it's a
C1.
if it's
He's directing this to the council.
yeah, sorry. Okay, so if it's a C1, then it can't be a RV park in a C1. It can be in a C4, but it has to have a special exception in order to be a C4. So those are the things that I noticed. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring them up, because I didn't want anybody to say that, well, you knew back then and didn't say anything. So I'm bringing it up now about the zoning, and that there seems to be something a little bit amiss on that. Now, the reason why I bring it up is because I do represent the Strong family, and we have property on both sides of that. So I am concerned about that. Okay, so I'm sorry. I apologize.
You keep, you don't get interrupted, you keep on doing that.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so that's my concern, and that's why. Now, I will say this, that Zim and I had a conversation, and he has been open, and he has said that we will work together to clear the property line issue, so that is no longer an issue. So those things were a concern on my mind, so I brought them forward.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody have anything else? Okay. We're moving on to old business, which we have the hiring for the attorney position. We have 2 people that put in their resumes for the attorney. The one thing I'd like you to note is for Megan with Douglas and Douglas, we would need to change the day of our meeting to hire her. That's the only note I have to keep in consideration there for that.
It would be on the same night of the week, just be the 3rd Tuesday instead of the 2nd Tuesday. My only other concern is on the other person is that how long they've not dealt with any of the stuff that's been going on in town. Douglas and Douglas has. So I know it's more money. I'm just concerned that the other person may quit if a lot of chaos starts coming and going. And
I do
or
believe
consist.
I think he's aware
Is
of,
Okay.
of
I haven't spoken to him
everything.
about it.
And there is a significant price difference, as you've noticed, so keep that in mind when you're deciding.
If he's aware of that stuff, then his number is the best number.
I like the Douglas and Douglas better though because they've got experience in governments,
Local government.
local governments.
Douglas and Douglas?
Douglas and Douglas.
Question. For the purpose of the public, we should know what those figures are, because we're part of this process as well.
Okay. We will make sure that it's an insurance story. Okay, so there's a difference of about $7,000 between the two of them in the yearly salary.
In the monthly salary,
The monthly salary is,
or the
the
yearly.
yearly
right?
salary is about $7,000 difference. Douglas and Douglas is higher. The other one, I don't remember what they're in the figure.
Can you share the numbers?
One is $1,600 a month, and I believe what she was $2,250 a month.
And estimated 10 hours per month. Do you
Those are-
think we're gonna go over that 10
Those
hours,
are fixed hours.
fixed hours?
No matter what the situation, they don't go over on the hours. And they are a litigating firm, not just a paper pusher.
I make a motion that we hire the Douglas and Douglas firm.
I'll second that.
All right, I hear a motion and a second. All in favor to hire Megan from Douglas and Douglas? Say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll hire Megan from Douglas and Douglas. All right. And then we have talking about any findings regarding the dissolution of the town. So the only thing I found out from anybody who would respond was with the property taxes, and that most of the property taxes would go down. And then you had something from Mr. Fox?
Yes,
regarding-
and other than the taxes, we would lose all of our grants. The grant for the fiber optic, the grant for the new water plant, the grant from the new water system and sewage from Bronson. So it would all go back to the appropriate people, federal, state, if they're not transferable. So,
Those and any future grants would not be available.
Are you sure? He said we would lose the infrastructure for
Yes.
the broadband, because
yes.
that was more,
We would lose everything. It would go back to the federal government.
because that check that we got from
That is,
that was for the infrastructure for the broadband.
correct, but it
And that
was,
wasn't a grant, that was
Yes, it was.
part of the,
no, it was a grant.
part of the infrastructure improvement.
Right,
for
no,
national.
we would lose that too. We would lose everything.
And I
Well,
know
the town would no longer qualify. The town would not be a town, so it no longer would qualify for any of it. So the town would have not fulfilled their obligation of the contract that was there.
That's for the normal grants that we applied for.
That would be in any grant or contract.
We'd be like Guthamic.
Yeah, you'd still be a town, you
Yes.
just wouldn't be incorporated. You'd be an unincorporated town.
Right.
And that's the findings that we found.
Yeah, that's all I have found out. I don't know if there was any other questions that anybody wanted me to try to find out
Okay.
regarding that.
Was for the counties and not necessarily for the town of Otter Creek. The infrastructure bill that was passed, the one that money came from, that big check that was.
That's not been paid yet.
The
Of course not.
1.4,
Of course not.
Right, so
What's
we
for the
would lose
town?
the payment of that if the town shut down, the town would lose the payment because the town wouldn't be here to accept it.
Well, okay, maybe I don't understand it 100%.
But I mean, it's not a negotiation, it's just, we're just giving out the information that was collected, that's all we're doing. Is there a negotiation?
Well, maybe I have a misunderstanding of that infrastructure program that was started, and it wasn't necessarily
But on the other hand,
grant that Fox applied for us. He does, we apply for a grant, he does all the legwork and the paperwork.
okay, so this is what you found, this is information you're bringing to the table? That's what the discussion was about. The information what information have you found to bring to the table about this?
Or what information have you found?
Just those
We
two
just went through
items
these
we
items.
just discussed was that the taxes for most people would go down and that we would lose our grant money. I don't know if there was any other questions that the board or the public had about that. Yes.
Do we know if we would be automatically eliminated from the pipeline deal, or would that have to be completely renegotiated?
It would be more difficult for the county, and if the county didn't pick it up, then we would be lost.
But you have other unincorporated townships that are jumping on too.
Right, so that process has already been started, so this would be changing our process.
Rosewood's getting it, Fowler's Bluff's getting it, everybody's getting it.
We
But that
understand they're
particular
getting it,
one,
but
not
that's
the one
part-
that Fox did for us.
Okay, all right. So that's the information.
Was there anything anyone else had regarding that? I just want, yes, Mr. Ford?
I just wanted to know, is there a proposal on the table, or is this just gossip that's being discussed? Because if there is indeed a legitimate proposal, then probably something needs to be discussed, but what we're getting now is nothing in terms of.
For the dissolution you're talking
Yeah.
about? Well, Don had made a motion one meeting, and then some of the citizens wanted to know more information about what does this mean for the town. So I tried asking questions just so I can let people know what that would mean. And I'm just relaying whatever was relayed to me so that people would know and everybody would be satisfied. No.
And any dissolution from the town, is my understanding, that it would be up to the vote of the people.
Yeah.
The only thing the board can do is vote to put it on the election ballot as a question.
Other than that, the state could come in here and shut the town down.
Yes.
But the people would have to vote. But I was just trying to let everyone know what that means regarding anything I may have found from any of the agencies who decided to reply. So I just wanted to keep everybody informed since that was a conversation. And if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next subject.
Thank you for bringing that up.
You're quite welcome. It looks like we have the community center, funds from broadband. Who wants to talk about that more?
So I think you spoke, we needed to decide what we're doing with our extra money from the broadband grant.
We have, the community center is still on the table. We need to make a vote for it if we want to proceed on with the community center from the money, or the $900-something goes back to the state. If we don't use it, it goes back. The only use we can come up with that fits the people of the town is a community center. I've talked to a lot of people about it. Some say they don't want it, but most say they want it. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we vote for the community center.
Where would that be built?
Well, the town's got property right here now, but the money will also be there to purchase the property if that property wasn't suitable. There's enough funds there to do the purchase and build the property, the building. And this is a building that could be used for emergency evacuations for the town. Be built as hurricane code and regulations. Safety